Welcome to the castle, everybody come inside, where each soul is important and stands with pride. No opinion's better than the next, we respect them all feelings are valid, let them echo off every wall. In the home of good vibes, we embrace and we heal, sharing truth and compassion with a soulful appeal. I'm your vibes queen, guiding light through the night, building trust in our kingdom as our hearts unite. I brew all the tea, warm and sweet with intention, got receipts to back it up, every claim gets attention. They call me the receipt queen, evidence on my throne. When drama gets crazy, I make sure the truth is known. Woo shall like, can you believe what we've heard? I keep it real and calm, delivering truth in each word. If rumors are stolen, I say okay, let's see. Then present all the facts so y'all can feel free. My members only, I share that exclusive tea. Platinum, you love it over here, living life carefree. We keep it real and loyal, trust growing each day. Inside these castle walls, love flows in every way. Every castle resident's voice is heard loud and clear. We vibe together in harmony year after year. Our story grows stronger with each conversation. So join the family now, be part of creation. Like, comment, subscribe to the castle where everyone is welcome. Welcome to the castle, everybody step inside. Vibes queen on the throne, come along for the ride. No opinion's better than the next, that's the deal. All feelings are valid, every vibe here is real. Castle residents, stand up, we keep it moving strong. In this kingdom of vibes, you know that you belong. Respect in the castle, that's how we do it each day. So settle in and vibe out, VQ's leading the way. I'm the receipt queen, I keep receipts on file. Spilling all the tea in the castle with style. When the drama pops off, we'll shout like it's hot. I stay cool with the facts, giving proof on the spot. You doubt my story, okay? I'll prove it real quick, dropping all the receipts, now the truth really sticks. I'm serving up truth while they just chasing clout. In the castle, we keep it real, no room for any doubt. For my members only, I spill extra tea on the side. Platinum, you love it over here, it's a VIP ride. Behind these castle doors, I serve truth extra strong. Exclusive vibes from my people, we vibing all night long. If you want the inside scoop, then you know what to do. Hit that join button fast and come through with the crew. Castle crew so loyal, shining bright like a crown. We built this family you together, ain't no tearing it down. Like, comment, subscribe to the castle where everyone is welcome.
Hey guys. Hey MGO.
Hey VQ, thank you so much for going live and giving me an opportunity to share. Whew, Jesus.
Sure. And this show is all yours.
Okay, well, first everybody, I appreciate y'all being here. I'm just trying to pull up my notes really quickly because I like to be accurate when I talk and not just, unlike some people, just talk off the top of my head and about anything and everything. So I was working today. I work from home. I have a nonprofit, and then I also work at a university. And I noticed that VQ went live in the middle of the day, and I was like, "Uh-oh, something's going on." And so I attended the live, which was a great live. If anyone has not been able to listen to it, I suggest that you do. It was a continuation of addressing the issues with. Is it okay if I say this person's name?
Just speak freely, MGO. Yeah, okay. It's okay.
That host Sheena Speaks, right? Addressing the problems, the drama that she's been starting. And I realize that there are some people here who follow her channel or are friendly with her or whatever, and that's fine. I'm just here to debunk the lies from this person. And so I did hear when VQ was addressing that this person had said some things about me and some things about Vaughn, et cetera, but I had not listened. I don't go to this lady's channel. I don't watch her stuff. She's annoying. Her voice is like the ashtray female black equivalent of RFK Jr. when he speaks. It's disgusting to me. I hate to hear it. So I and she's messy and full of drama. So I just try to stay away from there. However, hold on a second. One of my kids is over here. You need something, baby? I'm going to be addressing some nonsense. So I think you should go ahead and go upstairs and go to bed, because I'm going to try not to use profanity, but I am upset. So I'm not going to be saying nice things. Okay. Love you. Okay. Hold on. Yes, baby. Sorry, y'all. Mommy duty. So y'all give me a second.
Okay. Hey, everyone in the chat, be sure to like the video and come in. And if you come in and I don't address you individually, it's because I'm just letting MGO speak, okay? Normally she feel, you know, when she come up here, she can't get a word in because there's always somebody hollering and screaming. So tonight, she's going to be able to talk freely. It ain't going to be nobody coming up here doing no attacking, none of that, okay? So, yeah. She support us, and you know when you support me, I don't have no issue going live for you to say what you got to say.
Thank you.
But I'm on mute.
Okay. And sorry, everyone, you know, kids and all that. So I hope this isn't going to be tedious for you all, because I don't really know how to do this. But what I did was I took notes. So I unfortunately had to subject myself to listening to this person's voice and which is irritating, and their lies, which is annoying, for over an hour or 1 hour and a half, or however long her stupid live was. And I took very detailed notes about the stuff that she said, many of which are lies. And I'm here to debunk the foolishness, because we're all adults here. People can think what they can, like who they like, don't like who they like, have whatever opinion you have. But what you're not going to do is tell lies on me. That's what you're not going to do. And anyone who knows me, I mean, we're all online, and people are, you know, you get some sense of one another, but, you know, we're all human. Everyone's imperfect. But I pride myself on trying to be a reasonable person, trying to generally be neutral. I don't just start stuff with people out of nowhere. I will defend myself or retaliate, but I'm not like an argumentative, messy, trifling type of person. That's just not how I work. I do sometimes say things incorrectly or accidentally offend people because of, you know, my neurology. I don't always know how to say things or get nuances, but that's never intentional. And I've had a number of problems with this woman. And I am not a YouTuber. I have less than 200 subs. I only this year that I even start posting anything on my community tab or whatever. My YouTube was just a place for me to watch videos, and for some of my speaking engagements, plop them in a playlist. If anyone wanted to book me and they wanted to review some of my content to see what I've done, panels I've spoken on, or whatever, that's it. I'm not a YouTuber. I'm not a content creator. I'm not monetized. I'm not of that stuff. There's nothing wrong with those things, but it's not for me. I'm a public figure in my own life in terms of like advocacy, writing, research. And so I love to just come and just be just a random whomever that nobody knows or cares about, just in the chat, laughing, giggling, whatever. I don't have a desire. I don't have a morbid need to follow other content creators around and make stories up about people to build myself up or feel like I'm someone like that individual does. And so I've had a lot of problems with Sheena Speaks on this app. And she's created a lot of problems with me for people. And I'm going to address the stuff that she had to say tonight, because it's a continuation of some of the stuff she's been doing with some additional lies. And one thing no one is ever going to do is shame me for my life, the way I live it, and the choices that I make. No one. So nothing she said, of the few things that she said that were true, which most were lies, nothing she said is bothersome to me. So I'm going to address some of the foolishness that she said. She said, this one weird effing autistic bitch won't get off my effing coochie, wanted me to be in moo-moos. That's a lie. I will say it again. I'm just going to be honest. Okay. So everyone is different. I've lived in lots of different places of the world with different climate. I understand that it's hot and humid in Atlanta. I live somewhere where it's quite hot and humid now. I still stand by the fact that I didn't think that that was the most flattering outfit that she could have worn. Now, she can wear whatever she wants. I'm not paying her bills. I'm not shopping for her outfits. But all I did when I was queried, I simply said that I thought maybe a cute little summer dress, like sundress, mini dress, whatever, would have been really nice and flattering, you know, in the summer, and would have been something you could wear around. If she wants to wear a halter top and some cheap leggings, that and twerk in a Jeep, that's fine. I would have wanted to have a more, you know, shapely behind and a flatter stomach if I was going to be parading around in what she wore, but I'm not her. So she got upset. No one said she had to be in muumuu. She keeps making the story up that people were jealous of her or angry with her. And no one knew what she looked like. No, sweetheart, there's videos of you from your R. Kelly sector days and from scamming OCOV or whatever that, and other things that you've done. We've seen you. It's not hard. There's a thing called Google. Those videos are all up there on your channel and on the internet. So it wasn't a surprise what you look like. But, you know, one would have thought that you would have tried to present yourself in a way that maybe was more flattering for you. But again, that's you. But then she was like, the same bitch y'all grinning with didn't like me because I was dog walking her. She loves this word dog walking. She's like obsessed with dog walking, maybe because she's a dog. But anyway, she's like, you can't sit with us. I don't know what's wrong with the MGO lady, but she's weird as F. An educated, weird MFer. Yeah, I'm educated and I'm weird and an educated, miserable black bitch. I'm wondering why I'm miserable, because I'm not, that wanted me to be in an effing muumuu. Again, more lies. And every time somebody got my name in there, here come MGO. And I tell the people, leave that woman alone. She's got autism. She's slow. Okay, so first, it's hilarious that Sheena Speaks would fix her mouth to call anyone slow when she can barely pronounce anything, read anything, or comprehend anything. However, I'm not ableist, and I have children with a range of IQ and IQ diagnoses, and one of my graduate degrees is in education with a concentration in special education. So I recognize cognitive ability varies, and people have different levels of understanding. But what this ignorant hoe needs to understand is I do have autism, absolutely, diagnosed at age 7, PDD, NOS. However, there is not a damn thing slow about me. I am intellectually gifted to the point that I literally have a Mensa membership. That's the top 1% of IQs, okay? I don't brag about that because you don't have, that's just one quality. Everybody has their strengths, weaknesses, different things that they've done, different things that they've accomplished. But what you're not going to do is lie about me, a little woman who can barely speak or read. And she's like, she's dealing with HIV. So now she's trying to tell lies. Now, MGO are my initials. My name is Morenike Giwa Onaiwu. I don't make any secret of who I am. I don't begrudge other people for keeping their anonymity online, but that's not my thing. So she apparently, I guess, called herself trying to play detective and found that I have done a number of, of years of work in the HIV advocacy and HIV research community. I sure have. I come from a sero-different family. I sure do. I am not ashamed of anything having to do with my family, but best believe that if I was living with HIV, and people are living with HIV because it's not a death sentence anymore, it's a chronic illness that a lot of people are able to live and work and have partners and have babies and have unprotected sex, because if they're adherent to their medication without passing it to another partner, the Center for Disease Control has long told us that undetectable equals untransmissible, you equals you. So if I was living with HIV, I wouldn't hide it. So why are you trying to shame me about, because your father was a pimp, your mama was a hoe, and you have multiple baby daddies? Maybe because of that, you're trying to shame me. But baby, there's no sexually transmitted infections over here. But if there were, I wouldn't hide it. I am open, proud about everything that I represent, all communities that I stand for, and I am completely against HIV stigma. So you can try to shame me by saying I have HIV. I do not. But if I did, and anyway, and she said all the stuff going on in her family. Yes, we all have different things going on in our families. My family is certainly a lot more secure and stable than her raggedy family. She's like, leave her alone. I'm telling people to leave the bitch alone. But for some reason, she still want to critique me and tell me how my words is coming out wrong. Yeah, they are coming out wrong. And actually, if you want to know, almost everything she says comes out wrong. And I don't critique it. Nobody here is perfect. We all have areas where we can grow. I don't freaking care if you have grammatical and spelling errors all up and down the place. I'm trying to get the main content, the context of what you're trying to talk about. But if you're misunderstanding things because you don't get it, and you're assuming things error or malintent or insult, or when there is none, then yes, we need to address the fact that your lack of comprehension. It's like, tell me my words is coming out wrong. Bitch, I know that. I told y'all I got a learning disability. I know that. I can't do the raspy, I sound like I've been chewing on cigarettes all day voice, unfortunately. Sorry. I was born this way. I had it all my life. Like you had your disability all your life. So why are you shaming me? But anyway, but I'm supposed to, because you got a disability and an educated dumb bitch don't think you can be touched. You all in Marcus's channel following me around. All right, this woman is an idiot. She has an overinflated sense of her own importance. So like a lot of you, I discovered this sector because I watch different channels. Before I ever watched Marcus, before I ever watched Atlanta Street Interviews, I used to watch South White Underbelly for years. I watched Pull Up and Chat for a long time. Unfortunately, it's gone. I watched, I later discovered Real Right Uncut. I think I had already discovered Atlanta Street Interviews by then. I used to watch Florida Street Interviews. There was someone that was in, I think, Albuquerque or New Mexico that I used to watch as well, his channel. A lot of these types of things. I'm in social justice. I've worked in, with, deterrent programs and homelessness. This is like my, you know what I mean? And I grew up, in poverty, in, disenfranchised area, quote unquote, the hood. You know what I mean? So these things are, this is the work that I do. I work in Title I schools. This is so the idea that I was following her around because I was in Marcus's chat is ludicrous. Because before I ever dropped down and spoke a word in any chat or said, I had been watching this stuff for years. My YouTube channel is 13, 14 years old. And you can see when someone created the channel. Again, everyone has a channel, even if you don't use it as a content creator, you just have it for just the sake of, Google and YouTube. So for her to think, to have the audacity to think that because I'm in Marcus's chat, I'm following her around. I've been there before she ever showed her funky simian looking self over there. So it's ridiculous for her to say that. But then she says, oh, she gonna get checked. Don't check her. I got her. It's awful funny that y'all like each other now. It's crazy because the bitch was coming with me because y'all was effing with her. Now, she has screamed up and down, round and round about how I'm a cyberbully, I this, I that, right? But now she's saying out of her mouth that people were messing with me. They should be y'all cool now. And then so she continued to say stuff on some other things. She proceeded to start saying some things about Vaughn. So she says, I don't F with Vaughn. I don't watch Vaughn. I don't like men that think women is supposed to take care of them. I like men that go get some money, that works. Do you think I would even associate myself with a bum MFer who keeps laying out children and not properly taking care of his children mentally and financially? He wants other people to take care of his children. I have no respect for a man like that. Now, we got some bitches out here that's going to cater to your ass. But a bitch like me is going to call you out. Why won't you go get a job? Oh, you got mental health? Well, there's a lot of MFers with mental health. There's a lot of MFers out here with disabilities that is working. So I'm supposed to send people from my channel to donate to you because you have 2 children that you decided to lay up with another homeless woman, knowing that woman or you was not stable enough to take care of them children. And I'm supposed to support you because you are interviewer, not interviewing, as an interviewer from Marcus channel. You a bum on the street that got kids. Like I look at a nothing a nigga. Yeah, you went through something. Everybody went through something. I'm supposed to pull my heartstrings because you've been through some ish. We've all been through it. I'm supposed to feel sympathy because you got 2 kids. We all got kids. So let's back the freak up. Okay, let's back up. Again, so Sheena Speaks only follows interviewees when they're hot or when they're popping, and when they're not, she doesn't care about them. Remember how much she was so invested in the Josiah's situation, even though he had no idea who she was, and she even had the nerve to try to tell him when he was on a live that we support you, not your girlfriend, and he promptly told her about herself. Or any number of interviewees, Ileana Tone. I mean, we can name all kinds of people. When they're interesting, when there's something going on, she's talking about them. When they're not, she disappears. She has no originality and no content. She does not know how to develop. VQ can sit up here and talk for an hour and be 100 people listening and people are entertained or they enjoy it. Open can do the same. Everybody here, Raquel can, creates videos. Platinum, everyone here, Golden's, community tab. Sheena is the only person that needs to be carried. People go there because yes, Marcus goes to her channel, which he has a right to go anywhere he wants to, and because she derides and she follows the interviewees, but she has no desire to. She typically has nothing to talk about or to show of her own. But so she's saying she doesn't like. So I'm gonna express something before she started the Black Hammer situation and this and the other, and before she discovered Vaughn, I had known, again, like I mentioned, I've been watching Soft White on Your Belly, Atlanta Street interviews for years. I had discovered Vaughn's story years ago. Now, I usually listen to these things at night with my headphones on. So a lot of the interviewees, it wasn't until later that I started to actually watch it. So I would listen to them. So I would know people's voices and not know what a lot of them looked like. But I knew their stories. So he had interviewed several times before all of this. So for her to say, yes, sorry.
Let me ask you 1 second. Is the comments bothering you?
No, I can't.
I flashed them?
No. They didn't. I was coughing. So no, you can flash any comments that you like. And again, everybody, if you are making any, I apologize. I can't see them because I want to be accurate. I don't want to lie on this woman like she lied on me. So I have my notes on the tablet and I'm talking to y'all on StreamYard on my phone. So no, it's not distracting.
The chat been very respectful. Nobody being rude.
Thank you, everyone. And so, first of all, so I've known of Vaughn before he ever went on her Raggedy panel or anything like that. But again, everybody's different. There's even people in this room right here in the council that don't get along or agree. But we all know how to coexist and be adults, right? So for her saying that somebody thinks she doesn't like men that are supposed to take care of them and he's a bum and this and the other. So first of all, not that I should have to speak for anybody, but because this information is out there, on the videos that she's supposed to be breaking down and watching so often about Marcus, but Vaughn has always worked. He had 2 jobs, actually. And the reason why he stopped working is because he had to take custody of his twins as a single father because of their mother's issues. So he tried to continue working. He did not have reliable childcare, and he chose to sacrifice and look out for his children, so to which he promptly lost his apartment, his vehicle, his apartment, etc., and found himself homeless and struggling. He had already been struggling some before that, if you all have seen the videos, you know what I mean, for when he had a work injury. And she's saying that he's laying out children and not taking care of his children mentally and financially. So if any of you, several of you have been on his channel, he is very close with his boys. He takes care of his other children financially. Doesn't have as much of a close relationship with them, but this is ridiculous what she's saying. Now, it is true in the last year, the twins were born February 1st, 2024. I believe he had stopped working April something. So it's been like a year. So yes, it has been a challenge for him to be as financially supportive as he has been in the past. But this is foolishness. And so she's talking about you don't want to get a job, you don't have mental health. Let's not talk about the fact that she doesn't work if she's on government assistance. But again, not shaming anybody because we pay taxes for that, right? That's what we're supposed to have in a society like ours, that, to be able to take care of people when they have difficulties. But she's screaming, hollering about able-bodied, this, able-bodied, that. You only go work to make some money for yourself, to be greedy, but you make sure not to earn over where you're going to stop getting your check because you just want to sit up and drink and smoke weed all day, right? That's what you want to do. So she's like, I'm supposed to send my people to your channel. So she's talking about because he decided to lay up with another homeless woman. As I mentioned, he wasn't homeless. He's not a bum. He's a human being. Then she goes here, so you over there threatening me and Marcus. So I don't know why she's always conflating herself to Marcus like she's joined at the hip with him, like they're conjoined twins or something. There is no me and Marcus, me and Marcus. Marcus Ferris is himself. He is Marcus. You are the hanger-on that tags along and follows and dick rides everything that Marcus does and has grown your channel off of that. First, you were supporting a child molester, R. Kelly, and making excuses for him. And then you moved on to jumping around and following true crime and then later Atlanta Street interviews. You have no originality. But he was not threatening Marcus. Oh yeah, he was threatening you. He threatened you. And I know people have mentioned, and this is one thing I appreciate about VQ. She keeps it real. Everybody doesn't agree with the same thing. She mentioned, look, It doesn't matter who the person is. I don't agree with men threatening women, and I'm going to say something about it, whether I'm getting along with the person or not. And I respect that. I respect that about her. What I have not shared is, and again, I'm not saying that it's right to say certain things when you get upset or whatever. But what I have not shared is the reason, part of the reason that, so some of the belligerence that you all have seen from Vaughn online is because he does have PTSD. He jumped into protector mode. There was a time that he went like ham on Sonny and Ken because of some things they were saying about Open, because he didn't feel like it was fair. He's gone off on people for saying stuff about Marcus or about Yana. So he and I are close friends. He has learned about a lot of the harmful things that that Sheena has done to me and how it has impacted my life and my livelihood, including falsely, she and Lindsay, falsely accusing me of human trafficking infants. I have a nonprofit, and everything that I do is tied to my name. Everything, my reputation matters because people trust me, and they, and they value what I do. And if it is seen that I'm out there scamming and trafficking babies, they were lying and saying I was taking Febrez's baby and so forth and all that kind of stuff. They were doing a lot of things that were causing me a lot of harm, and I was being trolled all over the internet. I had unfollowed almost everybody from the sector because I just didn't want any drama. So I had unfollowed like 200 something people. I've later followed most people back. I went away and did my own thing and started just going back to the stuff I used to watch before coming to this sector. Ocean Eyes. And I started just going to look at my disability related stuff and my advocacy stuff and all that kind of stuff. And I had people I had fake troll accounts tagging me, following me, going place to place, saying stuff to me, doing this and the other, all kinds of crazy stuff. I mistakenly thought, I mistakenly and falsely accused some people of it who were not involved for that. And I feel very bad for that. I realize now I was kind of being baited into that for a reason, but I've since learned that those people had nothing to do with that. It was, but this was happening to me constantly, and I was frustrated all the time. So I'm like, okay, I backed off. I left everything alone. I stayed away, and I'm still being harassed. And and all of this kind of stuff. And so to where not just on YouTube, but also outside of it. Because again, I don't make who I am secret. So it's very easy to contact me or to find me or do whatever. So when this stuff is impacting my actual life and my family, and I've had, I've dealt with these types of issues in the past with, with stalkers, with people harassing or doxing, it created a lot of turmoil for me, a lot of emotional trauma. And so knowing how that impacted me, he got into defensive mode. Again, I'm not saying violence is the answer, but I'm just saying this wasn't just him out of nowhere. This was something that had been building. And when you see somebody that you care about and how it's being impacted. But I'm going to continue with her. He never threatened Marcus. So she's lying about that when she's saying you're threatening me and Marcus. The lie that he made, he mentioned her. He did give props to Benji. And I'm going to tell you why as well. Because he feels he appreciated that when Benji made the video, that when he mentioned Vaughn, that he, did so respectfully. He didn't talk about him in a bad way, because a lot of people tend to do that, act like he's just some kind of ignorant thug. But also, he appreciated that Benji, as a male, gave commentary about Yana's situation in terms of the abortion. Vaughn feels very, very strongly about abortion, and everybody's different. They have their own views about pro-life, pro-choice. But if you follow his story and you understand what he's been through and his mother's, his siblings, you understand why he feels so strongly, because he knows that he might have not existed. You know what I mean? This could have been his fate. And the same thing for his twins, could have been their fate. So someone who's been like, I don't care what, I'll be on the street if I have to, but I'm going to, I'll have nothing, but I'm going to, this is how much this life matters to me. You know what I mean? And for him to feel like a male is talking about that issue and not just glossing over it, as opposed to women talking about it, that was something that was important to him. He wasn't threatening Marcus. He wasn't bashing Marcus. Marcus and Vaughn have known each other before any of us knew any of them. They have each other's number. Marcus bailed him out, but they've talked. They have a relationship. So it's foolish and silly for her to act like, if Marcus has an issue with Vaughn, he could call him up right now. And Vaughn can do the same thing. So she was like, you feeling a certain way because a bitch didn't want to promote yo ish. And my people giving you job references, places that you should get on your feet and go do it. You want to sit in a hotel and wait for women to pay for yo ish and want me to advertise you. You the wrong bitch. The ones you got is the one you deserve. That dumb bitch MGO, she take real good care of you. Make sure she pay for all them effing hotels. And you want that to continue. So this is what she says. You want to pass a GoFundMe around in me and Marcus chat to fund you to get a car because you have twins instead of getting a job with an able-bodied man with working lives? Yeah, you got some problems, but we all got problems. It's no excuse to get a job. Okay, so some people act like they've done so much for people. You know, if you listen to that live, you notice that she talked about we threw Ileana a baby shower. Bitch, I'm sorry. I mean, bish. I'm trying not to curse. You didn't throw them anything. Marcus Ferris threw a baby shower, and Marcus's collective audience purchased things for Ileana, Tone, and Baby Divine. You threw nothing. You didn't host a game. You didn't do a thing. Maybe you bought something. Maybe. We don't even know. Maybe you didn't. But don't give yourself credit for what Marcus did. You are not Marcus. You are not an extension of Marcus. So, first, you're saying that her people that were giving him job references. So there was a time that a lot of us were, when Vaughn moved to Columbus and he changed his handle and he kind of changed the direction of his channel, he used to have a pretty large following in his lives. He doesn't go live very much. He has a lot going on. He's trying to worry about life. But when he had a larger following in there, yes, there were people who were giving him advice or suggesting things. So there was a particular moderator, passionately fine, who called herself giving him information about Walmart and stuff like that. Okay, so I'm not trying to be mean, but I think a 30-something-year-old man who's had 2 years of college, graduated high school and lived in different states, knows a little something about how to get a job, especially when he's had jobs. And I'm not knocking Walmart. Yes, I understand that if you have a felony, no, you can't always just get any job. But he's had jobs that paid more than Walmart. But he's not above Walmart. The job he just had in Columbus was a Dollar Tree. So Javon will go work anywhere. But what he was trying to explain is, you're sending me all these job listings for raggedy places like Walmart that don't pay anything when I don't have childcare for my 2 children. And they were like, oh, well, you just need to try to figure it out and work somewhere. He's like, look, I got mental health issues. I can't deal with that. He was saying, look, I'm trying to get stable here. I'm not just going to work anywhere and leave my children with just anybody. And I support that. I stayed home with my children for much of their younger years while my husband worked. And I know that's not, everyone is not fortunate enough to do that. My mother wasn't able to do that. My mother was a working mother, and my father too. But, there is nothing wrong with him, especially with the abuse that he has suffered from more than one person, not just his mother and sister, and and the things he's endured in the foster care system, and the things he's seen happen to lots of women and other people and children, that he would not want his precious small children, who cannot tell anyone about what's happening to them because they can't communicate clearly yet. He doesn't just want them with any random crackhead babysitter up the street so he can work and make no money. So there's nothing wrong with that. So he was saying, hey, stop stressing me out. He's not saying don't send resources. Vaughn is appreciative for everything. Everybody who's ever gone in his chat and just said hello, sent him a message, prayed for him, sent him $5, sent him $1, never sent $1, but just encouraged him. This stuff keeps him going. It means a lot to him. But so she's saying she take really good care of you. Yeah, I do. Because the people that I care for, that are in my life, that I love, I take care of them. I do things for them. So she's like, she paid for all them MFing hotels. So let's talk about the hotels. So Vaughn is a resourceful person. As I mentioned, he used to work. So first thing he started to do was live off of his savings. When all of that savings was gone and he had no more money, he struggled. He went to a shelter. He was in a family shelter for a while. You can only be in these places for a certain amount of time. You cannot be there very long. Also, a lot of places do not take single fathers. So if you're a single mother, you have more options as to where you can go for some of these shelters. If you're a father, you can't go as many places. And because there's need, if they fill up, if they give you 30 days or whatever, however many days, 120 days in their shelter, and you haven't found housing yet, they got to let you go. They have other people who have to come on in. And so so when his time in the shelter ended, he was very fortunate to connect with a Christian ministry in Georgia that placed him in the hotel that he was in initially in Kennesaw. So he was placed there. He was not the only client. There are others as well that they placed in various different locations. He was placed there. That Christian organization has reached out to me and sent other clients to me. They are not on Atlanta Street Interviews, so Sheena's not talking about them. But yeah, I've paid their hotel fees too. A single mom who was fleeing violence, some other people. But anyway, let me not even get into that, because that doesn't even matter. But so he had this ministry, they paid for 30 days, and they were supposed to be assisting with doctor's appointments and job listings and childcare. And they have something called CAPS in Georgia, where it's like subsidized childcare so you can work. They were supposed to be doing all these things. The caseworker never came. She would write notes saying she came weekly to the family. She didn't come. I know, because I work in this field. I started working and being involved. He gave me, and not just me, there's some other people here who's, Shay is a person that has worked, been very helpful. Myrna Washington, Tallulah Rogers, like there's several people here who have been, communicating with Vaughn and helping and supporting him in different ways, sending him resources or information or just giving him advice. And he's open to learning from people, he's not ignorant. Again, he's 30 something years old. So the person was literally faking that they were doing stuff and they weren't really doing it. Then it came to the time, then that person had to go on leave, and they passed the information to another person who said that they were going to check in once a week by email. He checked in. We have the information. We have the email what is it called? Notifications, where he emailed and the person responded that they got it. Then they wrote back and said, you haven't been in touch and you haven't been complying with the program, so we're going to put you out on the street, which is a lie. He had been complying. He had the proof. He forwarded it to them. So I assisted him with the grievance policy. And then, because the person was lying on him basically and saying that, because you weren't keeping in touch and letting us know what was going on, we're not going to pay for the 30 more days that we promised. When they realized that was a lie, that they couldn't pin that on him, then it came back, all of a sudden the program doesn't have enough funds, doesn't have enough money. It doesn't, you know what I mean? That was their story. So we had like 48 hours, I think, before Vaughn and these two babies were going to be out on the street. Now, keep in mind, because of his circumstances, Vaughn openly reached out to Child Protective Services. He would have them come do checks or whatever, because he knows how people act when you're homeless or when you're struggling. They're quick to try to call CPS on you, and he wanted everybody to know he was not harming his children anyway. They were well taken care of. There's one video he had on his channel where he literally had the police come and do a well check and stuff like that. He had nothing to hide. But he also knew that if you're not in a shelter and you're not in a hotel, they can take your children. If your children don't have a safe place to be, you can't just be out on the street corner you cannot go to his abusive, addicted, dishonest family. He has no one to turn to. So I have a nonprofit, like I said. It's my baby. I created it in 2014. I did it as a volunteer endeavor for like 7-8 years before I left my full-time job at the time at another university and started working full-time for my nonprofit, because I love helping people. And so what I did was I reached out to my my donors and my supporters, and I got funds to help pay the next month that those people who were supposed to pay did not pay. So yes, I certainly did, as I have done, again, for other people, but again, she's not interested in that. The GoFundMe that she's saying, she's lying. So some of you were there. Queen Spirit was in there as well. What happened is Vaughn created a GoFundMe. I was in Marcus's chat. I like to go in Marcus's lives. I said, hey, I think I tagged Queen Spirit and a couple other mods. I said, maybe open to, I said, hey, I want to drop a link, but I want to make sure it's okay that I drop this link. I don't want to just drop it. And so they said, oh, we'll check with Marcus. And so I typed it in. I was like, hey, Marcus, at Atlanta Street Interviews, can I drop this thing for Vaughn? Because Vaughn was being discussed in that live. People were asking about things. And so he said, okay, I'm cool with it if the moderators are cool with it. And so since they had said it was cool, so I dropped his GoFundMe. I don't go around just dropping people's Cash Apps and GoFundMe and other things. Do I do it in his chat? Yes, because I'm his moderator. I've been made a moderator of like 6 different channels. I some time ago, like maybe a month ago, I asked everybody to take their mod sticks. You know what I mean? Like, except I just kept one. People, I guess they just like the comments I make or whatever. I don't know. They just make me a mod. You know what I mean? And so when I'm a mod, I sure am going to drop the Cash App, the this, the that, the hit the like button and all that crap. That's what you're supposed to do. I've watched a lot of you mod and I like what you do, and I model myself after that. So I absolutely dropped it in there after Marcus said it was okay when Vaughn was being discussed. I don't go around in random people's chats dropping Vaughn's stuff. That's ridiculous and rude. I do not do that. And I certainly never asked her about doing it in her chat because I had already stopped going there before any of this happened. She would come in and her moderators, despite this is how much I tried to be a woman about things. I can't stand this hoe. But when she would come in his thing, I didn't block her. I didn't talk crazy. Anybody that was beefing me with whatever, if they were there to support Vaughn, I greeted them or I let them do whatever. I didn't chat. I didn't do stupid stuff in the chat or anything like that. I just acted normal, despite the fact that I know these people can't stand me. They're causing me pain in my real life, causing me to cry or whatever, or causing issues for me in my real life. She says, all right, let me continue. It's especially you decided to finally put the children in daycare. What was the excuse then? That is a lie. He was never opposed to putting the children in daycare. He did not have the funds. Maybe she doesn't understand because her children are older. You know what I mean? But daycare is expensive. It's not exactly cheap. So he was not unwilling to put his children in daycare. He was unwilling to just let some random person in the motel room next door watch his kid for $5 and some weed so he could go work at McDonald's or Walmart. Yes, and I support that. But he was not unwilling to put them in a licensed childcare facility with cameras and people who are trained, CPR and first aid certified and whatnot. So that is ridiculous. Vaughn, anybody who has been following him knows as soon as he got to Columbus and he got settled there, well, I'm sorry, when things there, I'll get to that later if it comes up. He had been going on interviews. He had been putting in all kinds of applications. He was doing all kinds of stuff. It took a while for him he got a job offer, but then it was rescinded. It took a while for him to get a job, but when he got one, he started working. He had no problem with the children. He had no problem with the children being in childcare. This is a stupid idiot lie that she's saying. So she's saying, I don't like men like that, period. Now, some do. Some of them desperate, lonely women will give him money, to each his own. But the bitches I F with, they was offering a nigga job references, and he didn't like that. Why was they offering me a job and I can't work because of my mental health? Oh, we don't see it like that here, baby. Everybody can get a job. Even if you got to stand at Walmart and be an MF and greeter and not deal with people but say hello, that's a job. So off him, I just had to throw him in there because he come in my chat saying I'm a weirdo. Keep saying he doing content. Dude, you don't got no numbers. Why would I go back and forth with people who don't got numbers and I send the majority of people to that channel? Make that make sense. I see why Marcus don't address them bums, but I'm going to address it. Okay, so this woman's an idiot. He's not trying to do numbers. You know, he's kind of homeless and kind of like worried about like keeping his head above water and rearing his children and making sure that they're cared for and that they don't turn out like her or whatever. So, you know, he's kind of like really focused and spending a lot of attention on them. But it's not like she has a million numbers. She has 8,000 something subscribers, close to 9. He has like, you know, I don't know, 6,000, 8,000, whatever the frick he has without even really trying, and he deletes most of his lives. So this is stupid. What she's saying. He does have plenty of content. He's hid most of his stuff, but he used to do interviews. He used to have music. He has to have a lot of stuff, but he's trying to rebrand his channel. But he has tons of content. He has music that he's done before. He played sports when he was in college. I mean, he has a life. He has his story that he's been through. He doesn't just have to follow Marcus around like she does. He has actual things that he could actually talk about. But anyway, then she starts talking about how criticizing VQ for putting Vaughn's name in the title. VQ was being kind. VQ could have been like, I don't like her, so I ain't gonna say nothing. She already talks about it. She causes problems. No, she put it. She didn't spell it the same way because this woman has said, "Don't put my name in chats." Whatever. It misspelled it, but it's basically about, "Hey, I'm giving you an alert," which she didn't have to do, right? And so she's like, "I'm not talking about nobody, children, just them unfit parents. I said them twins was beautiful. No matter how much they was trying to force me to do a baby shower with Vaughn, because we did one with Ileana. Y'all trying to throw a baby shower for Vaughn. For what? He lives in a hotel. What are you going to do all this stuff? Where this stuff going to go?" So I want to address that. She has said several times in her lies, she's told lies. She's told people that they bought stuff and he moved to Columbus and left it all behind. So everything everybody bought was lies. She's an idiot. Just because she drives in a car that she had fixed by a drug addict that broke on the side of the road doesn't mean that's how everybody else traveled. Vaughn and the babies flew to Columbus. Each of them had a seat and a ticket. When you fly on an airline, you have a certain amount of bags that you are allowed to put under the plane, you know, to take with you baggage and to check in, and you can pay for extra. So she's so stupid that she can't even understand that you can travel. People literally move out of the country or move across states and take their things with them. So for her to say that everybody wasted their money, whatever they ever bought him, he left it behind, that is a lie. He brought it with him. And then she was like, he didn't want people to send the babies gifts. He wanted money sent to him. And she never stopped in that because people wanted to buy the children gifts. We didn't want to supply you money, put weed in your, buy you weed. We wanted to buy your kids something. I ain't going to buy an MF in a hotel, a whole bunch of gifts. I don't know if you're going to go sell the S, what kind of habit you got. You telling us to give you money instead of buying them babies a gift. I'd rather give a gift. Why stand behind that? So she's an idiot. So first of all, again, for most of these types of programs that you're in, they drug test you constantly. They background check you because they are quick to want to get you out and get somebody else in. So, so she's an idiot, to talk about that he's going to go sell the baby's gifts to go buy drugs or whatever. And Vaughn's not hard on the eyes. Folks give him weed, okay? He doesn't have to really pay for it very much. But so this is stupid. But then she's like, a lot of my subscribers, my day ones, was getting mad. So she's saying the same thing. What's the difference between Marcus playing? And then she tried to say that, okay, I'm sorry. She tried to say that I criticized Marcus for sleeping with homeless women and playing Captain Saver. That is the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life. Whatever I feel or think, I know how to communicate it. When if I see things that I like Marcus, I say it. I see things I don't like, I say it. Marcus doesn't have any issue with me. He acknowledges me in his chat. And Marcus and I communicated offline. She acts like she's the only person who has his number. I have his number. I have his email, just like all of y'all. Most of y'all do. It's not like exclusive. He's a pretty friendly guy. You know what I mean? I don't really use it because I don't really talk to people. I'm kind of like antisocial. I'm autistic. You know what I mean? But she acts like she's like something special. It's like hilarious. I've had his number since before she did. But anyway, but I don't use it again because like that's not my thing. But she's talking about I don't care who Marcus sleeps with or who he doesn't sleep because you know what I mean. I've been homeless before and I certainly still had a sex drive at that time. You know what I mean? That doesn't take it away. But I'm not getting into that. I don't even know where she's coming from. But she was like, y'all just seen a man with green eyes. You want to help him. His eyes aren't green, they're hazel. But then she was like, he was the one that was effing with Marcus, getting paid by Kiki and them to do videos, taking Kiki money. And then when that dried out, he got bonded out by Marcus while he did all that stuff. Marcus bonded him out after he got paid by Kiki and them to F with Marcus. No one knew who Marcus was behind the scenes until Vaughn was receiving cash apps from Kiki and her man to record Marcus. And Marcus still bonds you out, for good A nigga. And you thought you was gonna get my support. So she's an idiot. A complete idiot. It's already been addressed. Vaughn was very clear about why he was upset at Marcus. He felt like the questions that Marcus was asking and the way he was going about his interviews were invasive and they were opening things up for these women to be in dangerous situations. A lot of these women are drug addicted. And so after Marcus would talk to them and they would talk about what they did this, they did that for $10, folks would come up and slide, and try to take advantage of them because they were an easy target. He was upset. He didn't like the way he was asking questions. He came at him. He got upset. He's aggressive. You know what I mean? That's the way he communicates. He and Marcus had their back and forth. They've gotten over it. I don't know why you're still worried about it. Yes, Marcus was kind enough to bond him out of jail. He knew that he had reached out to Marcus and Marcus did that for him and he was grateful. And they've been close since then. Again, all this happened long before she knew anything about him. So this is stupid. The idea that he was getting cash apps from Kiki and her man is to record Marcus is stupid. He did this on his own. They discovered his video and asked if they could share it. So he said yes. And then so he became like a mod. He was like, there was a time when all of us at one time were following all these same channels, Octavius and Kiki, the Castle, I forgot the adults, the whatever, all the different, everybody was subscribed to everybody. You know what I mean? So this was the case. This was the time that was the case. And then she says that she lies about how she wasn't attacking Yana when she was, and it's on video. And then she says, then she starts talking about VQ, talking about you let trolls on your panel and you let MGL try to dog walk me in your chat when I dog walk that bitch. I'm the bad guy. Again, this dog walk foolishness. And her keep talking about I'm throwing shots. I'm direct. I can say whatever I want to say. I don't need to dance around I don't understand that. That's stupid to me. Just say what you got to say or don't say it. You know what I mean? But I'm not. So she's reading things into stuff. And then she said, MGL's a weird, educated bitch. And she talks about, I have a whole degree. I have 3, baby. But anyway, Mr. West told her in someone's chat about Vaughn, you Captain Save a Bum nigga. You Captain Save a Bum nigga. Talk about Marcus laying up with homeless women. Oh, y'all didn't know? How much was you paying a month on Vaughn's room? $1,500? No trick. 2,500. I know you're used to saying in little traps, so you don't understand how much these things cost. But anyway, and then you went and got a loan through your business to pay for a homeless man's motel. At least Marcus ain't giving up his money. Who's the trick? I have a nonprofit organization, and I'm proud of it. It's my baby, advocacywithoutborders.org. Like most nonprofits, like the Red Cross or American Heart Association, or any number of nonprofits, our information has to be public. Public inspection is a requirement of all nonprofits. So it is the stupidest thing on earth to say that I borrowed money from my nonprofit. It's not a business. It doesn't belong to me. It belongs to the board members. I happen to create it. But if the board decides to fire me tomorrow and I'm no longer the executive director, it doesn't matter. I'm there. I'm not even taking a salary for myself so I can pour all the money into the work that I do and the clients that I serve. But you're telling me that I'm going to take money from business to pay for a hotel? You don't even know how much it is. This is stupid. And I never said anybody was a trick. Here's the next part, and I'm almost done with her commentary. Thank you for your patience. But you, MGO, made sure you went and got the money from your job, loans and ifs, to pay for a bum's room. So is it from my business, Sheena, or is it from my job? Because my job at the university, they kind of don't, I'm not an executive. I'm not a corporate America. If you know anything about academia, in education, teachers and professors don't exactly have the ability to just go borrow money. Now, if we have a budget, like I have for my staff, my research lab, we have money like that, but that has to be accounted for. We have reports. And again, my nonprofit, I didn't. So you're an idiot. And she said it was so hardcore that he had bed bugs where he went and you went to got more money to get him another room. Yes. So I will back this up. So her lie about he left all his stuff in Georgia was a lie. He brought his stuff with him to Columbus. Unfortunately, the place that we booked, that we found online, that had decent reviews, did have a bed bug infestation. He had to leave. He absolutely left almost everything behind. The baby's clothes, the baby's books. It's bed bugs. You don't want to take that stuff with you. So he lost almost everything, unfortunately. Yes. And so she's saying that I got him another motel room. I did not. He went to his friends. He's got good friends. He was born in Columbus, Ohio. He grew up there as well as Atlanta. He's lived in several different states. He stayed with his friends for a few days and then he went to the shelter. As a lot of us know, because we were watching him, he recorded himself on the shelter. He started out in the hallway because it's overflow, and then he got a room. And then when his room time was up, he went back to the hallway. So this is what's been going on. She, again, would know this if she would follow instead of making stuff up. You're an enabler, letting a bum A nigga not go to work. You one of them women that enable men from working. That's you. My husband has been making over 6 figures since we've been together. We have 4 adopted children, 2 biological children. Like I said, I stayed home. I don't need to enable a man to not do a damn thing. And I'm African. We work. Okay, so this is stupid. But yes, I understand that when people have difficulties or struggles, no matter what gender they are, especially as a single parent, because I know what it's like to be one, that sometimes a little bit of help is a blessing. So I'm going to close this to say that this woman is an idiot and a liar. I'm tired of her mentioning my name. She is nobody to me. I found her channel because, again, everybody in the sector stuff started coming up in the algorithm. I went to the description and it said it was talking about mental health and generational patterns. Those are things that matter a lot to me, that are important to me. So I started to follow. You come in but it takes a while before you realize that she's nothing but an S starter. She's a liar. She's manipulative. And I want to share this also. Unlike just because she went to Atlanta in booty shorts and a little thing, and still Marcus wasn't interested in her or anything like that, doesn't mean everybody's like her. She's talking about, there was somewhere in there that she said something about, you ain't even getting nothing, he ain't even laying no pipe or whatever. Because she can't comprehend the idea of people being close. I've had experiences similar to what Vaughn went through. We get along. We click. It may seem weird to people that we do, but all my life, I had brothers. I had no sisters. I've always gotten along better with men because I come off wrong to women. The way I speak, people think I'm being rude or whatever. You know what I mean? They think I'm sneak dissing or whatever when I'm not. And so I come off, people think get upset or whatever. And it's not like that I try to do it, and I've tried to apologize when I come at people like that, but I have a disability. I'm autistic, and you know what I mean? So, I'm not going to say stuff right sometimes, but I just ask people to have a little grace with me, but my heart is in the right place, so it's like, she can be whatever she wants. She keeps saying, I'm gonna stop messing with you. I'm gonna stop messing with you. Then she keeps bringing me up. I don't talk about this woman. She is insignificant and irrelevant. She thinks she is so important. It's just hilarious to me. Google Sheena, Shinna, Lachey Randolph. Google Morenike Giwa Onagu. What do you find? I mean, I'm not trying to be mean, but I don't need to compete with you, lady. I don't need to compete with you in terms of accolades, accomplishments, my family, my character, my kindness, any of that stuff. You do not touch me. And I don't think I'm better than anybody else. You know what I mean? She keeps talking about this degree. I hope it's okay to say this, Raquel, but I named my I changed my name. I used to be Morenike, which is my name, which is MGS. So I think I changed it once. I changed it to Proudly Weird Exennial, and then I changed it to like PH Diva, because I think you made like a video, and I know it sounds crazy if somebody makes a video, but I liked it's kind of the title. So I kind of used it as a title for myself. I thought it was nice. You know what I mean? So I mean, I know it was being used not to be nice, but I enjoyed it. And I worked hard for my degree. Like, so a lot of Black women, a lot of our people in our community, my grandmother could not even read. You know what I mean? My parents were the first people to go to college in their families. They worked hard so my brothers and I could have a better life. We still struggled, but I went and got my bachelor's degree, but I got my other degrees after I had kids. I haven't had my doctorate degree that long, actually. I only got it a few years ago. I had my master's for many years, but I went back and got it to improve myself, to try to help the community. And because unfortunately, people don't take you seriously. Black women can be intelligent and you can have all this kind of stuff, but nobody wants to take us seriously. We don't have the complexion for protection. We have to have all the accomplishments and all this and all that just to quote unquote compete. And it's not fair, but it is the way it is. And I want to be able to change things, for the better for my community while I can. And so basically, she's been shaming me about the way that I speak. You write paragraphs in the chat. I have a disability. I don't communicate clearly, so I get paranoid. So I say even more stuff, trying to make myself clearer. Probably makes it more confusing. Writing is a better way of communicating for me. You know what I mean? The fact that someone wants to pay me $5,000 an hour to speak has always been amazing to me, because I have a social communication disability. I'd rather write and never talk. If I could text all day and never ever have to say a word to anybody, a voice to anybody, that would be fine. You know what I mean? But this woman has been creating problems for me for months, and she creates problems for a lot of people. I've seen the way she attacks people. I've seen the way she attacked Vibes Queen. I've seen the way she attacked Platinum. I've seen the way she attacked Raquel. I've seen the way she attacks a number of people and makes up stories and then cries and whines about her mental health. She's so sorry. She starts crying. I'm like, anybody can cry on camera. You've made me cry, whore. But I didn't go on here and make everybody feel sorry for me. I went and did my thing, on my own, in my own personal life. But, you do that, and then people coddle you, and then you say you're going to change your content, and then you change it once or twice, and you come back to the same messy stuff. We all have problems. A few years ago, I could have died. I had 2 tumors in my brain. I have a lot of other illnesses. The reason why I've been online so much is because I'm not physically mobile like I used to be able to. I'm an ambulatory wheelchair user, so I can walk. I have like a walking device, but I also can use a wheelchair. I have a lot of pain. I take medication that's basically chemo, for very severe rheumatoid arthritis. I have a number of conditions that I have a lot of things going on in my life, and I don't know how much time I have. I might have, 40, 50 more years. I might have 2 more years. I might have 2 more months. I don't know what I have, but the time that I have is important to me. And I wanted to connect more with people like me, because I love, the disability community and all this kind of stuff, but I'm a Black woman at the end of the day. I like my people. And if I can't be around them like I used to be able to when I could drive and move freely, I at least can online. And so that's something I was able to find in these different sectors until I was lied on and attacked and made into something that I wasn't. And I have never felt that I'm better than anybody else because of my degree or anything else. I grew up in poverty, down the street from the crack house. I can tell you all kinds of stories. I know what it's like to struggle. I know what it's like to have to, I've been to where I had to steal diapers out of the store because I didn't have diapers to put on my baby. And so I pretended, put them on the thing and walked out hoping they would just think I forgot that they were there. I know what it's like for things to be difficult. I know what it's like to be in a situation like he's in, but I'm blessed that I do have a family that takes care of me. I do have a husband that loves the hell out of me, takes care of me and my kids, takes care of us well. You know what I mean? Takes us on vacations. This woman is such an idiot. She's staying in these raggedy traps. I'm like, I fly first class. I take private helicopter rides when I go places. I'm treated well, okay? But that's not even what's important in life. Like, you know, we have 4 properties on 2 continents. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not like, you know, but again, I'm still just a regular person. I still will thrift shop at the end of the day. I love a deal. I'm not better than anyone, but I don't like to be lied on, and I don't like anybody talking about people that I care about. And making up all these stupid stories or thinking they're better than me because they have 8.9 YouTube subscribers. I don't care if I have none. I really don't give a freak because I know what I've accomplished in my life. I know that despite the hell that I went through with the sexual abuse and the assault and the things that I've survived and the abusive relationship that I left, I had to move across the country for, and all the things that I've dealt with and the health challenges that my children have had, despite all the things that I've had, I know that I've written books. I know that I've published articles. I know that I've led research trials that save lives. I know I've paid people's rent. I know I've paid people's mortgage. I've paid people's tuition. I've taken people's children into my house and let them sleep, you know, or whatever. I'm not like her. So she does everything for attention. I just do what I do because I'm me. I'm not better than anybody else. I need to grow every day. I have areas I need to improve, but I'm not going to let some ignorant, stupid, ugly whore make me feel bad about myself. And one last thing that I want to say is this. I had a camera slip some time ago, and it wasn't, you know, and it wasn't an attractive one. I have a lot of health ailments. I have a lot of conditions. I get infusions monthly. I take a lot of medication. I'm like a 90-something-year-old person in a 40-something-year-old body because of my conditions. I have a lot going on. You know what I mean? But I don't complain. I just live my life. But yes, some of these conditions do wreak havoc on your appearance. You know what I mean? They make your skin dry. They make you bloat up and gain weight. They make your hair fall out. They make you look tired. It wasn't I had just come home from the hospital. I wasn't looking too great. But you know what? There's a million pictures of me online, and I look how I look. Sometimes I look good. Sometimes I look okay. Sometimes I look bad. I don't care because I'm loved. I got a man who licked me from the head to the top of my head to the toes of my feet. He loves everything about this. So it doesn't matter what she thinks or what she likes or how she tries to shame me about anything. I'm always going to be me. I'm not ashamed of me, and no one's going to lie about me and think they can get away with it. Thank you.
Well said, MGL. Well said. I'm happy that you finally got to speak your piece. Mm-hmm. Did you feel comfortable doing so?
I did. I appreciate it, you know, because like the castle, I mean, obviously, like I said, I was subscribed to Soft White Underbelly and like Marcus, but I mean, in terms of like the content creators, you know, like the regular ones, this was the first place. So I've been watching all of y'all for a long time. It's kind of like Open, how people were like, where did she come from? Where did the news lady come from? Blah, 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 blah. She's been there. She just wasn't, you can tell by the stuff she says, and she knows that she's been around. She just wasn't, you know, communicating originally. And same thing for me. I wasn't saying anything at first. You watch. But eventually I just like to talk, you know what I mean? So eventually I just kind of like throw in my little 2 cents. And I know sometimes it might be annoying, or I might not get the subject or understand, you know, I you know what I mean? I'm just me, you know what I mean? But, you know, I have enjoyed for the most part, you know, this community, this online community of people, you know, and I you know, I don't understand what's going on with her. I've tried to address it. I've asked her to leave me alone because best believe, like, again, Vaughn is a protector. You know what I mean? He went after, you know, I don't know, it might still be up. Somebody had it. There's some, I forgot what her name is, some content creator in like the beef sector had actually, when he went out after Ken and Sonny behind Open, he tore them a new one, you know, and you know, Sonny and Ken, you know, they can hold their own, but you know, so can Vaughn. You know what I mean? So he, you know what I mean? He's protective. If I was to have really let him know what this woman has done to me, the stuff that she said, or the things, or this live today, and let him know what's going on, I mean, this is ridiculous. Like, but I don't. I'm not trying to sick people on her. And I'm autistic. Our community is very, very. We don't let stuff go. We're very obsessive about things. What she doesn't know, she has no idea. If I had wanted to sick the autistic community on this woman at any time, we have shut down research trials. The other day, we stopped RFK Jr. from having a registry for autism because we spoke out. We have had movies pulled. That movie that Sia did, the music movie, we're a force to reckon with. And this is our month too, the last day of it. So I'm not trying to be mean, but if I wanted to pull rank, like she's always screaming about Marcus, Marcus, my brother. I like Marcus, he's cool, but I'm not trying to be mean. But again, I'm a researcher. I've known Anthony Fauci for 14 years. Yeah, I have his number. I've been to his house. I've met, celebrities. Again, I work for a nonprofit. They'll do like fundraisers and things like that. I lived in Southern California. Like, you come across these people. They're still just regular everyday people, whether they're rich or poor or nothing. They're people. They're human beings. It's about how they treat you and how they, like one of my close friends that's a trust fund baby and literally a billionaire, likes to shop at Target. Like, it's just because, like, I just feel like I don't think I'm better than anybody because of the amount of subscribers they have or don't have or whatever. I'm going to treat, there was something I heard Marcus say on one of his lives. I think he said something like, I'm going to treat the janitor the same way I'm going to treat Barack Obama. And that's the philosophy that I have too. That's how I was raised. This person's cleaning up for me. They're not good enough for me to say hello or anything. I'm supposed to treat them like they're crap. No. So she's talking about somebody that doesn't have numbers. They're not important. VQ's channel, the fact that it survived, what King did, the way he tried to take this woman down, the way it was brutal. That period of time with everything that was going on, someone else would have folded. Someone else would have lost their mind. They would have literally probably attempted suicide. The harassment, the constant bullying, and it wasn't just here and there. It was for hours. It would be hours in this live, and then hours in this live, and hours in this live, and it was stuff on community walls, and it was pictures, and it was this and that. It was everywhere. On top of still trying to rebuild a marriage, hold on to your children, deal with a breakup. She did all of this here. So yeah, her channel has taken a hit, but it's still here, and she got 2 monetized channels. So no, she doesn't go around clout chasing Marcus. So you get followers because of your mess and because you follow behind Marcus. So people follow you as a result. That's why people thought about you for the baby shower because of that. No one, you're not any. Frankly, there's a lot of people, even people here, that are closer to Marcus than she is, but she just brags all about it. Open and Ben had, a lot of y'all been knowing Marcus, been talking to Marcus for a long time, but you don't just blob it all, all over the place. Platinum met him before any of these people, she thinks she has something special. He is a YouTube celebrity with, 200 something thousand subscribers. I was in a viral video that's got like 1.8 million, views and counting. Like, lady, I've spoken in the United Nations in the White House. Marcus is cool, but he ain't paying my bills. He's a regular, everyday dude whose work I appreciate. But you aren't going to lie on me, and you aren't going to stop me. Thank you, everybody.
And I do want to say, MGO, that no, it's not just because of her, but not to freely say whatever, right? If you ever felt like you was on my panel and I might have never defended you enough, because I always go back and reevaluate. I'm my biggest critic, right? So I sit back and I'm like, damn, in this instant, could I have defended her a little more or whatever? But if you ever felt like that ever on my panel, I'm sorry. Okay?
Thank you. Thank you. So I didn't feel like that. Yeah. What it is that I don't understand, like with Sheena, she'll say something, right? So I'm not good at communicating. I'm autistic. So we info dump, you see, I just talked for like, I don't know, an hour or however without probably breathing. You know what I mean? Like, so we either don't communicate much at all or we communicate too much. There's no in between with us. It's too much or too little. So when she spoke and said she was done, and then I started to speak and she cut me off, that was confusing to me. Like, I'm like, no, I didn't interrupt you. You spoke, so it's supposed to be my turn to speak. So like, that's confusing to me. You know what I mean? But it wasn't like you've tried to be like a mediator, but also try to not take sides. Like, I know there's a lot of people here, like, for example, I know Golden is, friends with you, with Sheena, with all, I know some people makes them uncomfortable to be in the middle. I don't want anybody to feel any kind of way. I'm not going to, I can't stand the woman. I think she's trash, but I'm not going to say that to people who care about her or whatever like that. You know what I mean? That's their business. They can feel however they feel about her. She's still a human being. If she was, dying on the side of the road and I had to perform CPR, I would reluctantly do so. You know what I mean? So I appreciate being able to be here, at the castle, and just the love that's been shown to me here, because it is very hard, and I know everybody has their life struggles or whatever, perfect, but growing up, in our community, there's a way you're supposed to be. Children are supposed to be seen and not heard. You're supposed to be respectful. Like, all the stuff you're supposed to know not to do, I don't know to do. So I always got myself in trouble opening my mouth saying stuff.
and adults think you're trying to be grown or rude or whatever, or people thought I talked too white or whatever, or, you know, I developed very quickly. So I had a shape. So, but I had mostly guy friends, but I had been having these guy friends before I had so now people think I'm mad because I got all these guy friends. They think I'm screwing these people. I'm not. I just always have had issues. Or I was dark skinned. I could grow long hair. So everybody want to think it's a weave. So they want to pull your hair, you know, just dumb stuff that you go through, you know, in life where you just never feel enough. You always feel weird or different or whatever, you know what I mean? And and I appreciate that I've been given a place here to be, you know, at least tolerated. I know everybody doesn't like me, but some people do. And, you know, but at least I just appreciate, you know, just being able to be present.
Yeah, there was not one negative person in the chat tonight about you at all.
Thanks.
Yeah. You said, like, you don't believe in, no, I'm serious. Not one negative
No, I wasn't
comment,
saying like I don't believe it. I just don't know what to say. Like, I appreciate that and I'm grateful. You know?
Yeah, but you know, I always go back and look and I'm like, oh, in that situation, I could have probably, you know, handled that different or whatever. But you know, when everything happening on live, it's in real time, there's no erase button. So
yes.
That's all. Yeah. But you keep being MGO and I'll keep you in my prayers about all the stuff that you expressed that you're going through. Yeah.
Thank
I'm
you.
sorry to hear that.
Yeah, you know, and I just want to say, like, you know, it's frustrating to me because, like, that she said the thing about, oh, you ain't laying no peen. Vaughn is down the street. If I want to go get some, if I was like that, I can go. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not. Some of us are more. You know, we're just kind of. You know, it's just not our thing. Like, for example, Shay has single-handedly furnished the children's entire wardrobe. Those babies walk out there looking like they should be on the cover of a, you know, magazine or something, but she's quiet about it. And there's a lot of people in here who've cash apped them food or, you know, money for food or for this or for that. And y'all have kept it, again, it's, you know, sometimes he'll be like, oh, thank you, whoever, this is what I bought or whatever. But a lot of times he doesn't do that. You know what I mean? Because some people are wanting to keep it quiet because they don't, you know, it's not about they are ashamed. It's just that some people are more private. Everybody's different, you know, about how they do things. Some people are open, some people are private. And he has appreciated everything that everybody has done for him, but he's trying hard. He still does need help. He needs help. You know, he doesn't have a family. He's been treated like trash from his family since the time he was young. And then he's been treated like a sex object, like people who just want, he's tall, whatever they just want to do, you know, and that gets old and annoying. So it's also frustrating to me for her to insinuate that you can't have a connection or a true friendship. Yeah, he's attractive. And I you know, I don't, you know, I've had other attractive people that I've dealt with or whatever, you know, as friends or relationships or whatever. He's still him. He's a person. So, you know what I mean? Like, it's stupid and it's insulting to act like the person has nothing to offer but give you some pain or whatever. That you can't enjoy their conversation or laugh together or heal, you know, through trauma that you've had together or anything like that. Like, you just, again, and another thing that I'll say is this. Marcus interviews these people. He gives them their fee, the interview fee, and he puts their cash app on his channel. She's breaking down his interviewees. She says she has permission from Marcus. I'm sure she does. I don't think she would just say that. But she's getting mad about wanting that. What you're talking about, the interviewees, that if the very content creator puts their cash apps up there or their information up there, why can't you? Because you're making money, you're getting views and attention about this person's story. Yes, they were on Marcus's channel, but it's their story, their situation. So whether it's Ileana, Tone, whoever, if you're gonna be talking about them and making content, you have a right to, you should, the decent thing to do would be to put their information up while you're making content and insinuating things about people and making up stories and all kinds of lies and drama like she does all the time.
Yeah, like even that night when the first time I gave reaction on West Cindy, you know that we gave the reaction and then like nothing never really happened. So we never really talked about her again, right? But you know, the initial commentary I gave, I had her Cash App, channel link, everything pinned in the chat. You know, where everybody come in and spin at the top. Had the live is still up. I ain't got no reason to lie. I basically promoted her channel and Cash App the whole night. It wasn't about me because she had the kids.
Yes, exactly. And I think that's what a lot of people have been concerned about is like, you know, like you were saying, and that's also something that you didn't get credit for. You were discussing this. She'll come in and do something like, you know, the movie night that Chase had been doing, that Open had been doing. It's like she doesn't understand that these things are not that, she's not that unique. Like there's a lot of things that happen that have existed for a long time before she came around. She has, again, an overinflated view of who she is or what she provides. And so you were already talking about these things, you know, these things, and you don't have a problem when the interviewers coming. And I get it. I know that there have been, you know, like Monquel and different interviewees, and some of them there have been issues. I'm not saying no one has to do anything. Like sometimes people are just, you know, scrounging to try to survive. So if no one can give, or they don't want to give, you know, to Vaughn, they don't have to. No one is obligating anything. But for her to act like whoever that it was, I forgot who it was, one of her people wanted to share his Cash App, and she got upset about that and making all these excuses. What excuse do you have to not want to put the Cash App of a homeless single parent in your chat? Like, what valid reason can you come up with? Like, what sense does that make? There is none. There's nothing you can say that's valid about why you didn't want to do that. It's because it's about you. You had no problem with your subscribers buying you a car, giving you money for that, paying for your room, paying for this, paying for that. You know what I mean? But you have a problem with people helping him. Why? Because he's a male. So does a child care what the gender is of their parent, or they just care that they're being loved and cared for?
So I have a question. How would it be? Would you be like the one over? Well, how should I say it? Like, even if we did something like to collect money, right, for a baby shower, would you be able to be over it, or how would he? I mean, I know how he could get the money, but how would we make sure we could show the people how he spent the money? Like, did he actually get the stuff?
So there's a couple of different ways. Like, so there's several of us who are close to him. Like I said, like myself, Shay, Tallulah, he calls her Patrick because her last name is Patrick. You know, like, so, you know, there was a time when I was saying, hey, well, y'all, we should do a mods meeting. And I was trying to be slick because Vaughn was there, but I was really trying to say, y'all, we should exchange numbers or emails so we can talk, so we can kind of plan some stuff, because, you know what I mean? Because he also will, it's only because he's desperate that he's accepting help. He's a person who prefers to get it or do it himself. Like, he doesn't, that's not how he is used to operating. So yes, thank you. He had a wish list. He has one on Amazon. It needs to be updated because a lot of that stuff Shay has bought. Thank you, Shay, and other people. But if people wanted to know for a fact that the money was going to him, so I put a couple of links in the chat. I created a few of the families that I was supporting. I created something from my nonprofit. And there's a page that has Vaughn's Cash App, his PayPal, his GoFundMe. But I have a registered nonprofit, and literally anyone who sends anything to me, I have to, aside from the fact that I have to report it to the IRS, they get a receipt. It's tax deductible. So if anyone ever wanted to do something, some people are like, oh, I just don't want to give to this person for this reason. You know, if you gave it to me, I can ensure that I can detail for you. I'll have proof. I mean, Vaughn is usually really good about that himself. He'll show a receipt or whatever. Like, somebody says, this is for the baby's clothes or this is for that, he'll like usually show it to you or whatever. But, especially if the person requests that. But I can also ensure that it does. Anyone could look up, you can go on the irs.gov and look up, and to see that my nonprofit is legit. I have no reason to lie. I'm not keeping the money, or anything like that. So if someone ever wanted to do something, it would be helpful. I'm just going to be honest right now. And things are not unfolding in Houston the way hey baby, why are you still awake? Why are you awake? Sorry, hold on, y'all. Well, let me mute for a second.
Okay. He said, I see Drea down there in the chat. She acting up. I don't usually roll like that, but yeah. She got to stop with her madness. Don't come out here and be no victim tomorrow. She got everybody riled up.
I'm sure she will be. So right now, so the way things worked in Atlanta, there were, so like I said, there were some shelters that don't take men, some that don't. So when he was in Columbus, the reason why some of you were following, those of Columbus, there are only, I believe, 4, maybe 3. I think it's either 3 or 4 places that accept a single male with children that are underage. There are some places that will take only youth, like Covenant House, they don't have a Covenant House in Ohio, but there's some places only for youth, or only for single women, only for single men, only for single moms, for any gender family, and so forth. The problem that he encountered in Columbus is that of the places that you can go, 3 of them require you to have custody. Now he has a written agreement. He's been raising them. You know what I mean? Their mom doesn't raise them. He has the birth certificates. He has all the, immunizations. He has all the records. He has all that stuff. He has a written agreement, but he was broke. He was homeless. He lost a job. He didn't go to court and get an order saying, I have full custody. He just has a notarized letter from her or whatever. That's good enough for certain things. That's not good enough for a lot of these shelters. So the 3 programs that were kind of more transitional housing, not emergency shelter, could not accept him. They said that he had to go to court. You can't, half the time you can't find a baby mama, you know what I mean? Like, or whatever, she's unstable, but he's not unwilling to do these things. It's just not that simple. So the one place that he was able to go, he had a lot of problems with that place. They kept putting him in the hallway. And so finally the people there told him, dude, you're gonna have to go to another state. I mean, there's just not enough here. Like, so they were suggesting New York, Florida, California, Texas, places that have more services. And so we're big here, but we're not organized. So in Columbus, they had a system where you call one centralized number for housing. And they all look in a database, find a bed, and send you to that place. And that's where your emergency housing is. And you know what I mean? And and that's how it works. But here you got to call 16, 17, 18, 23 different places. I have a list of all the places that he's contacted since he's been here. And if they're full, they're full. It's just, you can't get in. It's just, that's the way it works. So he's working to get things together, but it's hard. And support would be very appreciated. Like, like I said, these places drug test, they background check, you know what I mean? He does go to the dispensary. He likes to smoke weed, but it's legal here. You know what I mean? You can buy the kind from the dispensary and the smoke shop, the THCA. So he likes to blow, but he'll pass a test because it's not the kind that will cause problems. So, support would be appreciative. If there's something we could plan as a community, I know he would be grateful. I know he would. If it's just for the kids and not for him, or if it's for both of them, whatever, I know he would appreciate it.
What's his Cash App?
His Cash App is ATV Vaughn. I'll put it dollar store. I'm sorry, dollar store. $ATV.
You said you gonna put it?
Yeah, I'll put it in the thing now. But it's $ATV Vaughn, and then he's on PayPal, also with ATV Vaughn. And so the link that I placed earlier, that has support a family, it has the Kane family, it has a link to, he has a GoFundMe. It hasn't really been touched. Like it made about $600 in the beginning, and then it hasn't really been touched since. But that's also, GoFundMe verifies all of those types of things. So any way that, we could do something. I know some people like Golden has bought some stuff and try to share through Marcus when he was still in Atlanta. But, Copper, thank you. So we're just trying to make things happen, but he's really trying. He's a good guy. I mean, he's a nice person. He's not perfect, but he's a nice person, and he deserves better than to be talked about like he's a bum nigga who doesn't want to work, who has 7 to 10 kids and all this foolishness that she's saying. Like, again, like she doesn't have more than one baby daddy herself. You know what I mean? So I don't want to keep everybody up super late, so I should probably stop talking.
I'm cool. It's okay. I just want you to feel better at the end of the night. Like, ooh, I finally got it off. Uninterrupted. Yeah. It's whatever. I'm cool. You better?
Yes, I do feel better. Thank you.
You said you're a great woman being there. Yeah. Thank you. Everybody's saying you good. They enjoy you. You had me in tears, okay? Don't do that no more, MGO. I'm over here on mute. I was dying laughing. It's the voice.
But see, I can't do it right because I would have to like scratch up my throat, eat a whole bunch of cigarettes, cough, and and then mess up all my words, say everything wrong, but act like I'm saying it right, and then get mad at people because they don't understand what the hell I'm saying, stuff like that. I was over here dying laughing. Look at open justice for the street sector. If your mental health has been affected, call that number. They be promoted. Right. Oh my gosh, y'all are funny. Mm-hmm. Yeah, see, everybody's saying I like hearing you talking, right? You did great, MG. I'm talking about what first time doing where you say a show on YouTube.
You really did the show. I didn't do anything. And you had a steady 80, 90 people listening.
Thank you. And I have receipts for everything. Like, you know, like I said, I make mistakes sometimes, but it's never intentional. Like I am honest to a fault, because if, those of y'all who have autistic people in your lives, we suck at lying. Like, it's just, we don't even bother. Well, I'm sorry. I'm not saying there's not anybody who is, because every human is different. So, you know, anything, like you were saying the other day about there's clean people in every race, clean people in every community, and dirty ones. Like when, you know, when people were talking about, like, you know, you being Jamaican or whatever, there's everything in every single group. So I'm just like, you know, I don't drink, but there's autistic people who use drugs, get drunk, you know, because that's how they function and they socialize better. So, but a lot of us, you know, there's certain things that are common, and a lot of us are not good at lying. We just don't, there's a skill set that's required to lie that we just aren't good at a lot of times. So, and me, I have memory issues. I have not just autistic, I also have ADHD. I'm not going to remember. So I can't lie because I'm not going to be able to keep up with the lie. So I'm just, you know, I'm honest. Sometimes to a fault, it gets me in trouble, but you know, she doesn't have to like me. We can coexist in, you know, in the world, but she needs to leave me alone. Stop lying on me. Stop lying on him. We can just pretend each other doesn't exist. That's what I do. I don't go to her raggedy channel. I don't talk about her unless she talks about me. Well, that's not true. Lately, I've been kind of mad. So if somebody says something about her, I will make a little smarmy comment or whatever. But I feel like I have a right to, after the hell that she put me through for months and the stress that I went through. But I'm not starting stuff. It can end here. I'm only responding because of all the stuff. She spent almost 2 hours on a freaking live talking and lying about me. I can pull receipts at any moment. Can you, Sheena? Keep my name out your mouth.
Thank you for giving. Said, at least I respect my guests. Yeah, I always do. That's why the castle is a safe space. Yeah. And nothing worse than being on a panel and people just keep cutting you off, especially the channel holder. You can't get a word in. They're just cutting you off. Mm-hmm. Now, how many times you see that happen over there? Always cutting somebody off. Y'all crazy in the chat. They said that hyena just mad because MJ is very intelligent, even with autism. Mm-hmm. I remember that comment that's always funny to me. MJ will stop using all them big words. And I'm like, that's what makes MGO MGO.
The thing that's funny is I'm trying not to use big words. Like that's what makes me laugh. So when I was growing up, I used to sit in the mirror because I was like, I was born in the Midwest, so I was born in Minneapolis. So that's why when Rock posts all the stuff about Prince, I'm always like, yay, because you know Prince is my guy. But I love him. But you know, we moved around like the, you know, various parts of the Midwest, Minnesota, Missouri, Nebraska, blah blah blah, and later, you know, ended up in Texas. And you know, autistic people kind of, again, it's different from person to person, but a lot of us communicate a certain way. Like we don't always sound like the people around us. So, you know, your whole family could sound really country or really hood, and you might sound kind of like me, or, you know, or whatever. Like everybody's different. So I got tired of feeling different. So I tried to remember the way my classmates spoke. So I would go in the mirror and I would lock myself in there, and I'm in the bathroom and lock myself in the mirror and practice trying to talk like my classmates, like the way they said their numbers, the way they count to 10, or the way they move their bodies. So I could try to, because I had so much love for like the Black community, but I didn't like fit into it because I was part of it because I'm African, part of it because I'm autistic, just weird. And then being from the North. So I tried really hard to, and then eventually I learned that there's a balance, because if you do it too much, you sound really contrived and fake. Like sometimes how like people, you know, like how white people try to overdo the Black accent. So you have to have a, you know, a balance, but it's something, it's, you know, I feel like I've learned so much. People who are different learn so much from people who have different types of life experiences or brains or whatever, you know. And so I've learned a lot from a lot of the stuff that y'all have posted and shared. And even if I don't say anything, you know what I mean? I'm just grateful. So thank you, everyone.
I dropped the link just to see if anybody wanted the link. But of course, it got to be okay with you if you want them.
Yeah, I'm fine.
Mm-hmm. No, not nobody to come in and say nothing to you. I'm just saying on the topic that we're talking about.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Girl, no. Yeah. I know. Oh, so who was that? That was Warrior say, "Oh, I love your laugh."
Thank you.
What you sound all innocent. He said, "Be right back." Okay. Y'all crazy. Honey, they'll be here talking about you violated chosen. Yeah, I'm
Mel,
happy. I'm happy for you, MGO. You probably won't sleep good tonight.
Mel, when you went on Lemon's panel, I think remember the first one before you turn your camera on, he said, "Are you black?" I see your
Yeah. You say MGO, keep being you, sweetheart. People don't realize autistic people. Yeah. That's what made me recognize you and like you for the way you are. Mm-hmm. I'm like, who is this person?
and I
They're
try to
all
be open
detailed.
about it because like I feel like so I grew up not knowing. So I was diagnosed at 7. My father never told me. I didn't. So when my kids were diagnosed and I later went to be evaluated, I was diagnosed. So I got a diagnosis as an adult. And for years, I thought that was the first time I was diagnosed. It's been less than a year since I realized. And that's why I'm very open about it because children shouldn't have to be ashamed. Like I feel like whether it's a person's biracial or tall, short, that has ADHD, has giftedness, stutters, whatever makes us different, we're still a human being. And I feel like a lot of people feel like they have to hide it because the world makes you ashamed. And so I feel like if I can be public and, then other people can, like on Real Right and Uncut, Greg, he stutters, you know what I mean? But, when he's not all the time, but he does. And I feel like, and Biden stuttered. And I feel like, like all of us have our little quirks about who we are or what we are, and so I just feel like, embracing that is important, and so I hope that Sheena does eventually do with her channel what she's supposed to do because she does have people who like her. She does have people who care about her and follow her. If she actually turns to talk about mental and the times that she has actually done that, the content has been engaging. Like if she just leaves the freaking mess alone, gets out of her own way, and just does what the channel is supposed to be for, I think everyone would be better off, including her.
Yeah, and she need to realize that none of the interviewees belong to her. She love to talk about, I'm breaking down Chris, and I better not see nobody. No, we could all break down whatever we want to break down or commentate on. Do commentary.
Exactly.
Yes,
they're their own
Nobody gonna
individual
stop
people. They
me.
don't belong to us. Yeah.
I don't care because every interview that everybody gave reaction on, we're all different. We're all unique. The commentary going to be different. Yeah. Just like with the whole tone thing. She act like she owned the whole storyline or whatever. And I'm like, child, I scared her alive. She try to do the most all the time. I'm like, I'm still going to talk. Sure do. Hey, Nico. You say you have just given me reinforcement. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, and it's having people in our lives like that keep us going, who will kind of love on us anyway, even when we're different or whatever's going on, like that kind of stuff. Like to me, my home was a haven. Like the world was a difficult place to be, but when I came inside the house, everybody knew I needed stuff to be a certain way, or this couldn't touch this or whatever, and nobody shamed me for it. And so like when we have people in our lives who are okay with who we are and build us up, it can be so it's the difference between life and death. It truly is, because it's a hard world. Like we're not liked. We are very disliked. Like, and so having people who love us and encourage us to and humor us with the things that we like or we like to do or whatever, it's a blessing.
You say your grandsons have autism. Oh, MJ, you see the comment on the screen?
Mm-hmm.
You normally stay in the bushes. Well, girl, you're a Casa resident. You don't have to stay in no bushes. You live here. But I understand. Some people just quiet. Yeah. Be easy, say that lady begged Marcus Mod because she was very yeah, she did.
And the thing about Marcus that I realized, I don't think he likes that stuff, like the fawning over him. Like the people who've met him, Platinum or whatever, like folks who he just wants to be, he's like a social dude. He likes to talk, but he doesn't want to be like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, the famous Jeep. Like, I don't think he likes that kind of stuff. Like, I think he likes a little pushback, and people who, you know what I mean? Like, he doesn't need all that fawning. I think that I don't think he would, I do think he's being polite, but I don't think he dislikes Sheena. I mean, I'm sure they have a friendship or a connection or whatever of their own, but, I hope she for her to be attaching herself to him so much, maybe she might want to watch how she acts. Like I tell my children, you're a representation of our family. The things that you do when you go places, that people are going to think you weren't raised right or whatever. They're not going to just look at you. They're going to look at me. So she needs to think about the fact that if you're starting stuff and this and the other, and you've attached yourself like a sponge to Marcus, then how does that reflect on him that his so-called protege is so messy and negative and dishonest? It doesn't look good.
Oh gosh, I went flashing all the comments. I forgot about your comment. Oh goodness, I don't know what I did with it. I lost it. I was talking about MGO comment. Oh gosh. Oh, I see it. Oh, I was able to scroll all the way back. Yeah. But that's it. Yeah, but she was over there bashing me today, talking about I'm that girl, I'm big fish, all of this stuff. And
Yeah, I thought that was
I'm
hilarious.
petty, right? I'm very petty. I went back to her channel after 4 hours of thinking you dragging me. After 4 hours, you were still at 6 something. I was at 4 something, almost 5 after 2 hours. So how you big fish and you got almost double my people?
How is she big fish? Because again, the only reason she has what she has is because she sponges directly off Marcus, so she gets the overflow. If the rest of y'all were, like doing so, it would be the same.
No, but you get what I'm saying, though. You have almost double my people, so how the hell you're a big fish? You should be at 1K easy by the time you end your life.
Mm-hmm.
That was very funny to me, actually.
It is. It's hilarious. I'm like, you've got to be kidding, right?
Is don't ever be live again talking about my numbers and people clout chasing. You don't have no clout.
And you have a whole husband. Like, this is a hobby. You do this for fun. So you're not like depending, you know what I mean? Like, so that's the thing I think she also doesn't get. This is not a competition.
I'm sure ain't. Even when I was going through a rough patch in my life last June, I never once came on here talking about, can y'all send me $5 to go get some water? Can you send me $20? I didn't. I sat on here, I did my shows, and y'all never knew nothing, right?
Mm-hmm. How was the baby's competition the other day? Did she enjoy herself?
Yep, that was Monday. She sold out.
All right.
I'm like, yep. So now she get to keep her uniform, the bows and everything. Oh, she really was in her element this school year. Okay. Aww. First time going to school and you was a whole cheerleader.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I'm like, yeah, that's what's up. But thank you. You always checking. That's your internet needs. Yes, you always checking in. Like, how's Princess doing?
Yeah, she's a sweetheart.
Yeah. Thanks, y'all. You said maybe I'm a what?
A minnow. Cool. Oh, with swimming. Yeah.
Thanks, Drea. But if y'all don't have, I'm not wasting no more energy on that damn lady. Let her stay over there. I really came live for you to talk. I don't have nothing like after that live early. I'm like, she's not even worth my time. Yeah. Because she's trying to act like I didn't even have time early because I ended the live, went doing real stuff with my family. Then I came back live. Miss Open then here. Mm-hmm. But I didn't have a chance to just sit down and really like go back to my call log. Don't come out here acting like we was. I'm MGO. I'm so serious. If we talked on the phone 2 times, I don't remember that. It's not that deep. You coming out here acting like we was besties. Like you don't know nothing about me. I ain't tell you nothing.
Yeah, she exaggerates a lot. It's very, obvious. And, it's just so hilarious to me. And I wanted to address something else too. She's very color struck. Because I know that, like, I guess her ex-husband is a lighter skin because, her daughter is significantly lighter. And I've got kids, the range of colors. Like, you know what I mean? Like my family, my grandmother was like super, super light. My grandfather was so dark that he could have passed for a Sudanese. So we have every shade in my family, from brown to dark to light. I don't care about those types of things, but she keeps talking and making comments about gorilla and black and bald headed. And it's funny to me because I'm like, all black is beautiful. If we're light skinned, if we're in between, if we're dark skinned, all shades of black are beautiful. We have a beautiful community. And so I don't know why she thinks it's acceptable to be shaming people for skin color when she's close to the same skin color I am. I don't think we're any different. You know what I mean? Like, I tan pretty well, but I mean, I'm like, so I just feel like we should grow past. And even I've heard Brown Eye saying some stuff. He was saying to Marcus, talking about his baby mama or his ex-wife was a yellow bone or this, that, and the other. And like, I'm getting tired of like all these ridiculous comments. Like, we can say things like, you know, light skin, dark skin. We don't have to say, we can use descriptive terms that still uplift all parts of who we are. This is 2025. And for a 40-something-year-old woman who calls herself a content creator to be continuously, and when you look that much like I don't want to use the M word, but the animal that has a tail and swings around, Curious George or Boots from, you know, Dora. When you look that much like one yourself, you know, you really shouldn't be calling people those types of names. But I think it's shameful and sad and pathetic that, you know, to be perpetuating those types of silly stereotypes and that type of self-hatred in our community.
You know, you want to know when I know this chick have a problem? The same husband that was telling me that it was wrong for having monkeys in my chat and whatever for you is the same husband that you think you want to talk shit about.
Yes.
Ain't that crazy?
Yes.
That means my husband,
yes.
obviously have some class or decency about himself.
Yes, exactly.
He don't know you.
He doesn't, but he's
just
saying, I don't care who this person is or what your is, but our community has been through too much for you to use these terms. You know what I mean? He was showing respect because he's a real man. And for her to say you need to get off and stop laying on your back, you're married. If you want to lay on your back, your front, your side, wherever you want to get it from, you know what I mean? That's your husband. You know what I mean? Like,
child, y'all into the business. Like, I'm a whole married woman. I can do what I want to do.
Mm-hmm.
That was funny to me. Yeah. The nerves, right, Julia? Julia down there laughing like the nerves. Look, you got the chat laughing. Oh, gosh. But that's it, yeah. I wish she'll just move the hell on.
I hope so. You know,
and this is exactly what I'm learning, and it's so annoying to me. If we fall out, it ain't even got to come on YouTube. Did y'all know that I blocked her?
No, we
had
no idea.
Said anything about it.
Yeah, no idea. And we shouldn't have had to know.
You're bothering my peace. You're bothering my peace. When I'm not on YouTube, I really don't want to be bothered with YouTube. Even if I'm on the phone talking to somebody, it's not all about no YouTube.
Exactly. Just because you connected with them that way doesn't mean that's the only thing you're interested in talking to them about. Right.
And you would hear me, even audio that came on here before saying, I don't want to talk about YouTube. I'm in real life. That's how I am.
Yeah, you said that. Yeah, you were literally saying it on those recordings that he shouldn't have made. That
I don't want to talk about no YouTube. I'm not live, so I need to be talking.
Yeah.
You know? But yeah, like, stop. All she has is YouTube. Now, she says she have a real life. That's why she can't get no receipts. But it's funny how all of a sudden my receipts are dumb again now.
So if it's not for receipts, then receipts are what? Like, it's ridiculous to me. Like, everything in life is about evidence. You know, in a court of law or in contracts or whatever, if you can't prove something, if it didn't, what do they say? If it's not on paper, it didn't happen. Like, this is, you basically have the social media version of that. You know what I mean? Like, I've had so many things in life that I've been saved because I had documentation. You know what I mean? So I don't understand what's dumb about the receipts. Like, the receipts, to me, it means that you're credible. You're not going to just say something until you can show evidence of it. So people can rest assured that if you're saying something, it's real. You're not just talking randomly. Unlike her, she says a bunch of stuff. I'm like, where's the receipts for all the lies that she said today? You know, I have receipts. I can easily pull up. I'm not going to, because I'm not going to put Yvonne's business out there, but I could easily pull up hotel receipt for this or for this other family that I talked about that, again, that she didn't want to mention because it's a woman and not a man. So I guess it's not worth talking about, or whatever. I can mention everything. I have nothing to hide. There's nothing she could shame me about. She can talk about HIV all day long. And
it was so funny. I'm still trying to figure out what petition I had about Marcus, the interviewer. That just blew my mind when she said that. Like, what?
Maybe you're going to create it tonight.
And nobody sat there and said, okay, what are you talking about? They
Well, see,
sat
I
there
think
actually agreeing with this foolishness.
Well, see, I think that sometimes when people are quiet, they're not necessarily agreeing; they're just listening. Because, like, I think I noticed that too. Like when she was trying to say all these people with dog walking you, and I was like, I was thinking, you know what? I was in all of the different lives, like the adults and this and the other, and she's making it sound like everybody and their mama was just bashing you, and some people were, and they've been honest, they've come to you and they've apologized, but some people weren't. Some people were just listening or neutral or whatever. But she wants people to be paranoid and make it seem like everybody was against everybody, and it was a like salacious story, but ultimately you being your real self won people over. You know what I mean? Like King got like 1,000 subscribers immediately, when that happened, but you know what I mean? But you have to maintain your people. You have to have a relationship with your followers, that's genuine, and so it's, people have that here. You know what I mean? Like, I know people got annoyed when Marcus was like, if you have 30 people or whatever, I'm one of them. I'm just in the bushes, like, and y'all weren't even, on the greatest of terms, but he was just mentioning he always, enjoyed your content. Oh, open. Okay. The petition stuff came from Ripple Road and Pancake Drive, and it never went anywhere. So this is something from the news that she, basically confabulated and got confused as if it was something realistic. Wow.
Yeah, but why stick that on me though? I don't even know what you're talking about.
Oh, the map that Open had. So Pancake Drive was Psychology Eats, and Ripple Road, I believe, was Kiki. So yeah, I think it was just like basically like a joke. You know how Open would say it's like, oh, we're still looking for the neck. There's an APB out for the neck, or there's like little jokes. So I think what happened is maybe she got confused. I guess Sheena intentionally or unintentionally, I don't know, and put that on you, which again, you weren't even on that street either. So like you were on a completely different, you were in the castle, it was a completely different part of the map. I used to love that stuff, Open. I hate that you had to stop doing it, but I like what you're doing now too.
That was my jam. Okay, I was stalking her channel, waiting to be nosy. Yeah.
I loved it. Then I was so mad when she started doing the other kind of news, and I wasn't getting the notifications anymore, and I was like, oh man, what's going on? But
yeah, I was gonna say something. I don't even know what the hell I was gonna say. It was
Open said it didn't come from the news. It was talks of it. Oh, okay. So thank you, Open. So they discussed possibly doing it, but it never transpired. Okay, but still, that had nothing to do with you, VQ. You weren't even talking to them back then.
I get blamed for everything. I'm like, oh my gosh. And then now when everybody going live, making community posts and all of this, she'll be like, oh, I never bothered these people. Yes, the hell you did. In that live, you over there throwing, oh, I'm putting names on it. This ain't no subliminal. Okay. Well, deal with all the backlash.
So Drea and Platinum's comment makes me think of something. So sorry, I'm autistic, y'all. I know I like to script, but this will be short. So this is old from that house party movie with Kid and Play. So Kid is in the office talking to the principal with one of the members of the I forgot the name of that group, and he was like, "Why are you all fighting?" "I'm sorry, ma'am, but see, he called my mama a hoe, and I don't play that. You see, my mother's dead." "Well, I'm very sorry that you're feeling this way, but it's still no excuse for fighting." And then she turns to the other boy and says, "Now tell me, why did you call his mother a garden tool?" And then they exchange glances. So if the woman didn't get the joke that he was basically calling his mother a whore, she heard hoe and thought it meant a garden tool. So sorry, a little inside goofy autistic joke, not funny, but funny to me.
But the crazy thing about it, you talk about how garden hoe and all of this stuff. She was so damn mad at Miss Open,
Exactly.
thinking Miss Open, and I'm looking like, girl, You don't know what a garden hoe is?
No, she doesn't.
You say you're in the rose garden. Like, that was not even a shade.
She even had a picture of a hoe right there on the screen. But this is what I tried to explain. Sheena always, I'm sorry for cutting you off. Sheena will misunderstand things, but swear that she understands it and gets mad when you tell her that she doesn't. I do understand. You just said it a million times. If I say blah 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 blah, and that's some word, and I could say it 10, 30 times. If you don't know what that means, it doesn't matter how many times I've heard it, I don't get it. So she doesn't understand people's context, but she thinks she does. And there's nothing wrong with not knowing. Y'all see me asking questions all the time. What's parmesan? What's this? What's that? And if I don't know, I don't freaking know. That's how you learn in this world, by asking questions. Maybe if you don't feel comfortable asking, you can wait. Hopefully somebody else might ask. But to go and put yourself out there like you know, so you make a whole live because you're mad thinking somebody's shading you and they're not, or you think this is happening and you're not. Maybe you should run things by other people before you just do it. And then maybe you will be in less trouble, because hopefully some of the people that are with her do actually care about her and would tell her, hey, you're overreacting, or this isn't right, or whatever. But I don't know. I feel like they just, appease her a lot.
Yeah, it was so funny to me because I actually used to just go to Miss Open channel just to hear her talk about Go Far, Far Away in Fairy Tale, and that was hilarious to me.
Yeah.
That was not even a dig.
That was my favorite. We used to, it's so funny to me. So like Vaughn and I would be called, did you see Open's news yet? No, did you see it? Like, we would discuss it. It was one of my favorite things to watch. Yeah.
Because I was sitting there like, who is this person? Oh, I like this. But I'm so scared to drop down. I don't even know if they like me. Because at that point, I don't know who is for me or who don't like me.
Yeah.
So I'm like scared to drop down anywhere. Like, damn, is this one person that's mad?
Mm-hmm.
But I said, I'm going to go for it. Hell, the most they can say is, you're not welcome over here and block me. Okay, whatever. I'm glad I did. Damn, she said everybody that get mad at her be over here, Britt Brat. Didn't you used
People
to
been over
her?
here though. Like I saw Rock's thing about how being subscribed to here. I would have to go look because I had forgotten, and I was glad that she posted that, because I forgot you can go on YouTube and it'll show you when you subscribe to somebody if you dig back far enough or whatever. I believe that the majority of the people who were already following you, like again, we were all subscribed to the same people, and then because how else would people have known what was going on when because King was only on your channel. He was on the castle. He didn't have his own channel. He launched it later. So I feel like a lot of people were already over here, and they just, you lost some people, but anybody you lost that you didn't gain back wasn't for the castle anyway. You know what I mean?
So. All right. Who need to be here is here. Miss Open, can you drop your link, please? Nico need your link. I be telling them, Nico, go ahead and drop your link. I cannot remember to keep saying that. Just do it. But yeah. The chat say I genuinely went to. Let me see. You say I genuinely went in with pure intention. I took everyone's brand into account. Yeah. Yeah, I loved it. He said people been everywhere, people never. Yeah, because in the beginning, while she want to sit here and say, I don't have views, let's keep it all the way real. The Castle was one of the top channels in the sector. Still is.
I mean, okay? you didn't get the nickname Miss Feed the Streets for nothing.
No. You can't have a street sector without the Castle. It's just not a thing. You know that, just like her channel, it's certain people that you can't say street sector without calling their name. You know that.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Exactly. Yeah. It's people who've been here from the beginning that it wouldn't, all of it all is part of the microcosm of what makes the street sector what it is, and even like I know even when the name was, I have to admit that I've never been in love with the name, the Atlanta Street Interview Sector, because to me, there's always been more. I know that Marcus just, was putting out a lot of content, but I feel like everyone here has also followed some of those other street channels and topics. So I've always felt like Street Sector was the more accurate name, you know, but I understand that, you know, people voted on a name, so I'm fine with whatever people voted on, but the original name to me is just what I always think of.
Yeah. He said, I'm gonna always come with the receipts. Yeah, I try to be thorough. Ain't nothing chopped in school. The same way, when people say, oh, I fabricate receipts and whatever, no. The same way I take the screenshot is the same way I just cut it, you know, crop it, where it only show your name and what you posted, and I put it on that background and stick the date on it. I don't do anything else. It's exactly what you said. So how you mad at me? So when
Forgiven.
did people vote about?
What happened is, I think it was Just Jai. So Open was doing one type of news, and Just Jai was doing like a roundup, or I don't know, like a digest. So they had two different styles. So Open's was a daily, and hers was more like breakdown of a week and like highlights. And so there was a time that I don't remember why, something happened where people were told not to use the name Street Sector anymore, like that. So there was like a poll asking people to vote on a few different name possibilities, or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah, and what I said back then was both of them was unique in their own way. So one was outshining the other.
Yeah.
Because one might don't want to hear the daily upload, but they just want to read it. Like how you say you like to write, you don't like to talk. Somebody might don't want to hear, but they want to just read. You know, nobody was outshining nobody.
Yeah, they had their own style, and so she's gone on to, she has another channel called Just Jai Reacts and some other stuff. So she's, you know, moved on to other content and covering other things. But I liked a lot of stuff she had about like motherhood and entrepreneurship and stuff like that. So it's interesting. Like there's a lot of people here. However, we all stumbled across each other. I've learned so many interesting things. Like from Mel, because I know nothing about gardening. When I say nothing, I mean literally nothing. Like just different things that people have seen, have shared. You know, like when you go on their channel and they share about. I've learned about music from some of y'all, or just different things. I just feel like there's so much we can teach one another, even though people fight and stuff like that. You know, I just feel like there's just such wisdom here. You know, like a big dysfunctional family.
Yeah. But Jai, I know her from Beef Sector because she was actually a Castle resident when I was doing Beef Sector commentary.
Oh, okay.
So I won't say, oh, she followed me over here, like, ooh, she followed me.
Yeah, but you just kind of both migrated.
You was already my channel member or whatever when I came over here. So yeah. Or maybe it ended before, but whatever. You were still subscribed and you started, I went doing different content somewhere, and yeah.
Kind of like how we've all kind of, well, some of y'all were already like you, Gemini. Some of y'all were already in Beef Sector, but some of us kind of found it through different people that y'all have shared. So kind of learned. And I actually a mod for somebody in the Mo 3. Well, not anymore. I asked him to take my thing, but I don't know. Like that's funny to me. I'm gonna be honest with you. I had no idea who Mo 3 was. I didn't know he was. So I was like, that's an interesting name, Mo 3, like Mo Better, you know, Mo Better Blues. And I was like, oh, he's a rapper. So I guess it's a sector that formed to remember this rapper or whatever, I don't know. So like, yeah, and then Black Sector, I don't know, like all these things, they all kind of started to intermingle in different ways.
Yeah.
But y'all, we better go to bed. I got to take these kids to school in the morning, and I know a lot of y'all have work and different things. But thank you so much, VQ, for giving me a place to share. I feel so much better. I was so mad. I was hot. I would normally have been asleep. I could not sleep. My adrenaline was just flowing.
Nobody like to be lied on. That's how I felt earlier. I was so irritated until I came live. Then I got off laughing.
Open, I've discovered some of these people because of you. Like King Roman News, I discovered because of you, and some of these other people. Like, but then some of them I've discovered because like VQ is how I discovered Lemon. Although I don't really watch Lemon anymore because he's, yeah. But anyway, yeah. So not nothing. It's just not. There's too much going on in that. Beef Sector is weird. But anyway, good night, everyone, or morning. Thank you so much for your support, and I just really appreciate it.
Okay. Thank you for coming up, and I'm happy you're feeling better.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
You too. So we're gonna close with the song or anything?
Do you have IG?
I do, yeah. It's Morenike Geo, yeah, on there. So MORENIKE Geo.
Yeah, but we'll talk about it. And I don't mind posting, sharing it, whatever, if we want to do something about him in the baby shower.
Oh, thank you. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I mean, he's working, so you can see progress. I see that. One minute the person not working, then they're working, baby's in daycare. He's trying.
He
I
worked up
don't
to the
mind
day that
sitting
he
there and
moved.
promoting it.
Up to the day that he moved, he worked. When he was in Columbus, he intentionally found a daycare that had weekend hours, so he could also work on. So he worked 6 days a week. He worked on Saturdays too, and the babies were there. And then Sundays he would go out. That was when he would go to church. And then also, Vaughn likes to roll the streets and listen to music, so he'll be playing his music and riding the streets. But he's serious about those kids. They eat organic food, they sleep well. He's really trying. He really cares. He loves those kids. They're everything to him. Everything.
Platinum, you got to drop your link, girl. They don't know how to find you, and go live. You'll get them. You're easy. Say, MG, I'm glad you finally spoke out. Yeah. But yeah, I know you got to get up early. I have to too, so it's okay.
Maybe if it's okay with everyone, I'll put like some kind of a comment tomorrow, or I guess it's tomorrow, but later when the normal hours, in the live, the comments after the live, that if anyone is interested, maybe they could, express their interest, like a Google form, or I don't know, or something, if they want to, think about planning something. And I'd love to have the Vaughn's Village OGs, y'all know who you are, the blue team, to, if they want to be involved to help with planning, or anyone, because I'm autistic, so I'm not good at that kind of stuff. So
yeah, that's why I'm like that's why I say, yeah, if you have IG, like, I don't mind whatever I need to help you with, or whatever, to do it.
Thank you.
Like, to set it up, promote it, whatever.
Thank you.
I don't
appreciate
mind.
that.
Yeah, I don't mind at all. All right, we'll talk about all that later.
Okay, thanks.
Have
Good
a good
night.
night.
Y'all
You
put the
said
castles in
was
the
I gonna play the music?
yeah.
Which one of the songs you like?
I love Platinum's one. No, like
No, I know it, but it's two of them. We had one for the intro, so we'll use the other one.
Oh, I don't know. Maybe the chat can pick.
Yeah, both of them for the castle, but we use one. I think the longer one for the intro. Yeah. But all right, y'all. Have a good night, okay?
Thanks.
You said, can you put MGO email in the chat? I can help. I have a lot of baby things used I can send as well. What's your you say her email, or you don't do emails?
I do. I put it in there. Is it not showing?
Oh no, it's not, because
YouTube
because
might
I
be.
have all the links blocked. What's
Oh,
it? Let
okay.
me see. Tell me and I'll try to put it right here.
Okay. MGO.
Okay.
At advocacywithoutborders.org.
Advocacy
Mm-hmm.
Without Borders.
Yes.
And then you say at where?
So Marenike at advocacywithoutborders.org. But I think so. Open just put my channel. So if for some reason y'all can get it, if you go to I think the description or the about or whatever, I have like I think that I have a link. I definitely have my assistant's email, staff at, thank you, Vibes Queen. So mine is MGO at advocacywithoutborders.org. And then my assistant, Kathy, is staff at advocacywithoutborders.org. But either way, it will get to me. And then, so you're welcome to, if anyone wants to reach out, we could figure something out just to love on him and show support. He is really trying.
Okay. All right.
Thank you, everybody.
Okay, y'all. If y'all need to reach out to MGO, just go to her channel and look at her about section, and she have all her info. Okay? All right, y'all. Have a good night. Good night, Nico. Good night, everybody. Did you get a link I put in the comment on your wall? No, because all the links are blocked, but it's in trash. It's in spam, held for review, so I gotta check it. It's like in a different spot. I check it and I have to check it and approve it. Okay? But yeah, when you put the links, I don't see the comment right away until I check it. All right, y'all. Have a good night. And hopefully this lady could just move on, do her thing, go her own way. Yep, I'm not interested in all this back and forth. It is what it is. All right, y'all. Have a good night.
Welcome to the castle, everybody come inside, where each soul is important and stands with pride. No opinion's better than the next. We respect them all feelings are valid, let them echo off every wall. In the home of good vibes, we embrace and we heal, sharing truth and compassion with a soulful appeal. I'm your vibes queen, guiding light through the night, building trust in our kingdom as our hearts unite. I brew all the tea warm and sweet with intention, got receipts to back it up, every claim gets attention. They call me the receipt queen, evidence on my throne. When drama gets crazy, I make sure the truth is known. Y'all like, can you believe what we've heard? I keep it real and calm, delivering truth in each word. If rumors are swirling, I say, okay, let's see. Then present all the facts so y'all can feel free. For my members only, I share that exclusive tea. Platinum, you love it over here, living life carefree. We keep it real and loyal, trust growing each day. Inside these castle walls, love flows in every way. Every castle resident's voice is heard loud and clear. We vibe together in harmony, year after year. Our story grows stronger with each conversation. So join the family now, be part of creation. Like, comment, subscribe to the castle, where everyone is welcome. All be hip-hop track. Welcome to the castle, everybody step inside. Vibes queen on the throne, come along for the ride. No opinion's better than the next, that's the deal. All feelings are valid, every vibe here is real. Castle residents, stand up, we keep it moving strong. In this kingdom of vibes, you know that you belong. Respect in the castle, that's how we do it each day. So settle in and vibe out, VQ's leading the way. I'm the receipt queen, I keep receipts on file, spilling all the tea in the castle with style. When the drama pops off, ooh, y'all like it's hot. I stay cool with the facts, giving proof on the spot. You got my story, okay, I'll prove it real quick, dropping all the receipts, now the truth really sticks. I'm serving up truth while they just chasing clout. In the castle we keep it real, no room for any doubt. For my members only, I spill extra tea on the side. Platinum, you love it over here, it's a VIP ride. Behind these castle doors, I serve truth extra strong. Exclusive vibes for my people, we vibing all night long. If you want the inside scoop, then you know what to do. Hit that join button fast and come through with the crew. Castle crew so loyal, shining bright like a crown. We built this family together, ain't no tearing it down. Like, comment, subscribe to the castle, where everyone is welcome.